Hello, fabulous Aries. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of February 2014. General focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This is a month of friendship, fun, and also the familiar. And in particular, looking at what it is just on an energetic level that feels familiar and where maybe that familiar is good for you and where maybe it isn't. So let me break this down for you because it looks like all of this is a process. It starts with friendship, goes to fun, and then it ends with an important moment where you realize what it is that you've done because it's familiar, because it feels comfortable, but ultimately has been getting you into trouble. Now, what this trouble is going to be different for every Aries out there. And sometimes this trouble could be a lot of fun. And for some of you, this is going to be a very strong awareness as to what you have attached feelings of pleasure to that maybe are not creating very pleasurable outcomes for you. So let's start one at a time. In the beginning of the month, there's a strong focus on friendships. There's a strong focus on who's adding new elements to your life. And it does look like for some Aries out there, you are going to make some really important connections. And these connections will lead to other connections. And so I would say when I look at the sky for you, because people are going to play such an important role in your change, especially in your changes personally, I would say to you, make sure that you're out and about as much as possible and be willing to meet new people as much as possible. Now, this is very much a friendship vibe. So I'm not seeing so much of a romance vibe with this trend in particular, although I will talk more about love and the love-focused horoscope for this month. But what I am seeing more than anything is that there are some awarenesses that need to happen within you, and you need new experiences to facilitate those awarenesses. And that there are some really powerful people who can come in. And by powerful, I don't necessarily mean power players or authority figures. But what I do mean is people who can facilitate some really important understandings within you that end up creating powerful changes that move you in the direction of eventually becoming a power player or an authority figure. So make sure that you're out and about as much as possible. At least one person is definitely going to stand out. Your interaction with that person is going to stand out as being significant to you. And as events develop this month, how you interpret the events that develop this month is going to be influenced by this one person. In the middle of the month, the focus shifts to fun, it shifts to creativity, and it shifts to your creations. And so you're looking much more at what is it that actually is giving you a sense of fulfillment? What is it that actually giving you a sense of joy? And what I am seeing is some flirty energy happening around you, a flirty environment. And so I would say to you that channel that energy into whatever it is that you feel you want to give your love to, whatever it is that you feel you want to give your creative energy to, because love, of course, isn't just about what I talk about in the love-focused horoscopes, but love is also in a much more general way, as in being in love with your life, being in love with your work, living in a state of love and enjoyment. That's really going to be the focus as we get you to the middle of the month. And it is some of the people that you meet or reconnect with and have connections with in the beginning of the month that help facilitate a greater sense of purpose and joy once we get you in the middle of the month. But really, I do think that it is towards the end of the month that you are likely to have a moment that acts as a standout, sort of defining moment of the month. Because in these monthly horoscopes, as I've said, I do like to sort of focus on one or two key themes that I think are going to characterize much of the month. And then I talk more about some of the more immediate things that could be happening for you in the weekly horoscopes. Before the monthly horoscopes, because I do think, as I look back at my own life, I do think that there are in every month sort of these standout moments that really tell you what the flavor of that month was, what the lesson, the larger lesson of that month was. I do think for you this month, it is going to happen towards the end of the month that the really important developments are going to be around you gaining awareness into what it is that you have been doing that is getting you into trouble of sorts, okay? So this could be trouble that's a lot of fun, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. And actually, the awareness is a great gift and a great blessing. But if there ever was, and I think astrology is all about making you aware of your choices, and that's my personal belief where it comes to looking at the sky and how I interpret it. And I do think that if there ever was a time when the sky is really trying to empower you, it is towards the end of the month by helping you have an awareness that you very much need. And again, very likely facilitated by either the memory of some people you interact with early in the month or facilitated by a connection that you make early in the month that seems seems to be coming back around. But it is this awareness of how maybe what you've wanted maybe hasn't been so good for you. Maybe what's driven you, been motivating you, isn't so inspiring anymore. Maybe what it is that you've been doing, which is the most likely scenario for a lot of people out there, what you've been doing sort of automatically in your most unconscious moments, that really is not something that's creating outcomes for you that matter. That where you've attached pleasure to something that happens on a regular basis maybe is not leading you to where it is that you want to go. And this awareness is really powerful. It's going to inspire your sense of choice, inspire your sense of free will and how you want to direct that free will. And what I do really like about this month is that slowly but surely you're coming to an understanding of who's going to support you in positive change and who isn't. And this is where I come back to this idea of friendships, because I do think that there are at least one or two people in your life right now who want to prove that they are up to the task of being part of a better vision of your future. And yet there may be one or two people as well whom you recognize as supporting some behaviors that maybe aren't so good for you. But I do think that overall, most Aries out there are not going to find that that's the case. I don't think you're going to find that you look at your life and you say, wow, this person really isn't good for me. I'm not seeing that. What I see more than anything is that you see that there are people who are actually really wanting to support you and just really care about you. They care about your positive change, your positive growth. And what you do to get yourself in trouble, as I said, I'm not saying it's not a lot of fun, because fun is a huge theme this month as well. But it is about finding that right balance so that what you do is not something that's actually hurting you in any way or bad for you, whether that's bad for you spiritually or emotionally or otherwise. And of course, a good look at habits is going to matter as well now and as you head into next month. And what I find really inspiring about what's happening for you next month is, and I'll talk more about this then, is that there will be a new moon in your sign, marking a significant turning point. Really, your own personal new year starts next month. And Mars will be retrograde next month as well, giving you a lot of power for a lot of honesty. All of that starts now. All of that starts this month. The honesty starts to take root by the time we get you to the end of the month. You start to formulate your support group in the beginning and the middle of the month. And that in turn is going to help you to create a momentum, a wave of change that eventually is going to lead you to the clarity as to what the next new year of your life is going to look like just a little bit further down the road. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great month. Be fabulous and enjoy.